ready for round two?
Cause I am sure hungry for
Nerdle soup.
And hello everyone, welcome back to Nerdle Soup. I am your co-host Reo, your jack of all fandoms, master of none.
And I am Donnie. And together, we are back. But we are not in black because we can't afford to license that music. Hum it quietly to yourselves at home.
Please do.
But it's not just us today. We have a third guest. A third wheel, if you will. No, wait, that's a negative connotation.
Let's just say that three's company. And
Yes.
that company now makes up a new member of the cast. Joining us today is John. Say howdy.
Yes, howdy.
John, yes, three is company. John is the Jack Tripper of this podcast.
And I, of course, am Suzanne Summers.
Well, that's not fair. Why I gotta be the other one?
Because you actually stay on the show.
Well, you got me there.
So please, come on knock on our door. We've been waiting for you.
We can't afford to license that either. Shut up. Yes, John will be filling in when one of us is unavailable, which happens sometimes. Part of that is why you haven't gotten a newer episode in a while. John will fill in. John will help review things if one of us hasn't seen it, but the others have. John is an all-around great guy. You know, sometimes you go to a restaurant and they're out of the soup you wanted, and you need a substitution. And that's where John will come in. John, what's your favorite kind of soup?
I gotta go with tomato bisque, man.
John, you are the tomato bisque of this podcast.
Now, as for the soup that I like, there's none greater than a fine Nerdle soup.
We hope Nerdle soup will be everyone's favorite soup by the time we're done with this. It's been a while since we've been able to do a show, but we're back now, and we will see how that goes.
And I would say one of the many reasons for our recent absences is that we've done a little bit of traveling lately. Myself, I have been able to cover a couple little events that have taken place over the last couple months. Donnie, I'm sure you've been also been seeing sights and traveling abroad.
No, just me on the couch watching Netflix, mostly.
Okay, then. Well, let's get this rock and roll show on the road. So, John, why don't you give us a rundown of your credentials here?
Oh, well, I've been a nerd going on 35 years. I'm a video game player and love everything comic book related, and here we go.
Any particular fandoms or titles you're into? Like, are you like a big Batman fan, or like a Superman fan, or an X-Men fan, etc., stuff like that?
I don't really like Superman. I fancy Batman more, but I've always fancied Marvel more than DC anyways, and Spider-Man's always been my favorite.
How are you feeling about the Spider-Boy storyline? That's been a memeable controversy.
Is that current comic stuff? I haven't actually picked up comics for a couple of years, but it's an expensive hobby.
It
Yeah,
absolutely
it has, sadly.
is. Yeah.
I was going to say, some of the stuff I had a couple of years ago, I had to sell when I moved to Oregon, so everything's gone now.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah. Literally, some of the stuff is selling for over $500 now, so what can you do, though, right?
But yeah, Spider-Boy, that is a controversial current comic thing. A new sidekick showed up for Spider-Man and said he's been there the whole time and nobody else remembered. And so the internet is having fun inserting Spider-Boy into all these past Spider-Man issues. Reddit is having a lot of fun with that.
They are.
This forced Robin, forced Buffy's sister storyline. I'm sure it's not going to end that way.
He was just standing off panel this entire time.
I would like to insert him into No Way Home, just in the corner somewhere. There's 3 of you? That's crazy. I'm also here.
And then it's like a little blurred him waving in the background.
It's even more confusing if you count the Marvel DC crossovers. Spider-Boy's just in the corner. Oh man, Spider-Man, the Superman's really strong. Luckily, there's 2 of us. Let's get him.
I think I'll set this one out. I just got a sprain in my lower calf, so yeah, Spider-Man, you go ahead and do that.
Peter, you can take him. I'm just gonna be over here.
Funny enough, I actually kind of missed that storyline myself, but I guess the big one right now kind of a storyline that's leading up to the death of Ms. Marvel, Kamala Khan. Yeah, I guess it's some event. I've been kind of seeing highlights from Twitter, and nobody's liking this storyline because it makes Peter look like a total asshole for no reason. and it's just fucking up his life even more hardcore than it has usually. I guess he caught up with Mary Jane, and she's already had another husband and kids. I don't know if it's like an alternate future or if it's like a alternate timeline or something. But now the Fantastic Four hate him. Captain America hates him, I guess. And somehow this leads into Kamala Khan getting killed off for like a storyline before she comes back for the Marvels movie. Needless to say, it's getting a lot of criticism before it's even hitting. And from what I've seen from all the panels that everybody's shown online and the pages, not everybody's really partial to the writer, and they're kind of wanting him to be fired.
Well, that's the world we live in now. There's so many built-in biases in comics, in movies, in everything that people spoil. You've already made up your mind about the content 2 months before it comes out.
Nerds are gonna nerd.
Nerds are gonna nerd for sure. Just give him a happy ending. It's not like comics don't reboot every few years anyway. Just give him a happy ending, and then you can pick up somewhere else down the line.
Yeah, he can still be Spider-Man and still have a wife and, his own apartment or house.
Yes, if anything, it'll give him more problems to deal with.
Yeah.
Maybe Green Goblin kidnaps their spider baby. There's all kinds of things you can do.
Funny enough, you should mention that. Peter B. Parker from Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is going to be coming back in the new sequel with Mayday Parker, who is the canon future Spider-Girl as an infant. Yeah, she's the one who's the baby that he's holding, like in all the previews and all that.
That'll be exciting.
Oh, yeah. I'm looking forward to that movie. It's coming out in a few weeks. I'm just glad they're making Mayday proper canon instead of just a what-if storyline or timeline or stuff like that.
And we're going to get more. We will. Especially if the live action Sonyverse movies don't do as well. Like if Kraven the Hunter does Morbius numbers, they're going to be like, you know what? Animated Spider-Verse from now on. Let's crank out 10 more of those.
It sadly won't make a more $1 billion.
I've said it before. I'll say it again. No Way Home 2 with Nicholas Hammond. You almost
got my hopes up. Before you said Hammond, I thought you were going to say Nicolas Cage, and I'd be like, hells yeah.
Nah, he's Superman. You're mixing up the lore.
Nicolas Cage can be anybody who wants, because he's Nicolas Cage.
They literally did that. Did you see that? They put him in Dead by Daylight as just Nicolas Cage.
I just saw that announcement today. It's incredible.
It really is.
Yes.
It takes me back to my youth and playing with action figures, and you couldn't necessarily afford all the action figures. So if you had one and the actor played multiple characters, you could just pretend that it was the other guy also.
Right?
Yeah, you had to.
Dead by Daylight really is essentially that whole entire concept of just playing with your action figures, because they got like all these different characters from different licenses and different series all in one little setting.
It really is. They just keep adding to it. Good for them and their success.
Yes. Is Nicolas Cage going to be one of the survivors? Or is he going to be one of the horror stalkers? Or is he going to be both?
If you're going to get killed, that would be great to get killed by Nicolas Cage.
It would be, yes. That's going to be in my last film investment. I want to be killed by Nicolas Cage. I don't care how.
Maybe he's been brainwashed and he perceives you as one of the animatronics from Willy's Wonderland.
I prefer if it was he's actually Castor Troy and he's come back to take revenge on Sean Archer, and then we have a little John Travolta survivor running around trying to not get killed by Nicolas Cage, and then you can switch it every other level, and so Castor Troy is either Nicolas Cage or John Travolta.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll put in a bunch of little nods and Easter eggs, like when Stallone did Rambo in Mortal Kombat. Maybe Nicolas Cage helps you survive, and then someone's like, "Thank you for saving us, Nicolas Cage. You're a national treasure."
Or he throws bees at you, or you can distract him by throwing bees at him.
There you go. See, we might have to pick up this game. We really might.
I think we're going to have to just add a principle now. Not only does it have Nicolas Cage, but also has Bruce Campbell as Ash, as a playable character.
Nicolas Cage versus Ash. I mean, that's money right there.
That is. That should be the sequel to that one movie he just did where he plays himself. Forgot the full title, but it's like The Unbridled Weight of...
The Unbearable Weight of Being Nicolas Cage.
Yes, thank you.
You see, this is why we have John here.
I didn't get to see the ending. I got to the end of it, and then my roommate that I was watching had to go, so I couldn't see the ending.
Does it end with the birth of Nicolas Cage?
No, he becomes Renfield, which is movie of the year.
I always figured Nicolas Cage just gives birth to another Nicolas Cage, and then
baby Nick Cage comes out with a full beard already. And speaking of alleged Nicolas Cage, We will not be spoiling the Flash movie, the alleged rumors, the alleged spoilers that are out there. Allegedly, the whole movie is out there being spoiled for people, but I don't believe it. There are certain parts of it that make me skeptical. I have seen it. I have, read basically the entire movie, supposedly, unfortunately. It's funny because I saw the spoilers and then I had to cross-reference with other spoiler sources to see if they matched, which just made it worse. But yeah, some things were conflicting. Some things sounded like I don't believe that the characters would do that. The ending allegedly has me concerned. But yeah, the point being, we're not going to cover that. We're not going to cover the Flash spoilers, but they are out there, so be careful. But what we will spoil Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. So if any of you listening haven't seen that, click out of this, go watch that movie, and then come back here, because we're going to spoil the hell out of that.
Yes. Now that we have all finally caught it and broken it down and been able to process this stellar film in our brains, we can finally talk about it.
Spoilers, it was a good movie.
It was a
okay,
damn
moving
good movie.
on.
Yes. It was a damn good movie, I gotta say. I got the feels big time with this one.
James Gunn really tied together, specifically the Guardians portion of the MCU, perfectly. This movie really wrapped it up nicely.
He did. It definitely did. So far, I gotta say, James Gunn has been 3 for 3 as far as Marvel goes. Nothing he's really done has been crap or anything like that, or you don't get tired of it.
People were liking his Marvel. People were liking his Suicide Squad. He's got a good track record going. And I will say this, his soundtracks are bangers.
Oh, yeah. He, I would say, after early Tarantino, really knows how to put together a nice rockin' soundtrack, especially for this one. Like, there was so many fucking bangers on this one that I was in love with the whole movie the entire time.
To me, it almost felt overloaded with soundtracks, and some of it's only like 10 seconds or whatever of a song, but you still recognize them and love them, and they fit the movie so great.
They do, yes.
And I'll say this, too. I was so glad that the Flaming Lips made the soundtrack, because all the San Diego Comic-Con nerds rubbed it in our faces for months about, oh, we got a special exclusive trailer set to the Flaming Lips, and it was never publicly released, and you guys will never, ever hear it. Well, guess what? It's in the movie, nerds. You ain't so special anymore. As Ron Burgundy would say, go F yourself, San Diego.
Ron, a friend, we're going to have to fire you now. I will say that one was a good addition.
I'm Ron Burgundy?
Although, for me, the best 3 songs in the soundtrack for me was the acoustic version of Creep by Radiohead at the very beginning. That one just felt so perfectly fitting the mood for Rocket as he was walking around. And then the second best one for me was when they were hopping onto the fleshy planet and to Space Hog, which I am so glad Gunn used that song. And more people got exposed to that band, because that song is such a good freaking song, and it really was one of the really undiscovered gems of the 90s grunge movement. And I was really hoping sooner or later somebody was going to find that song and put it in a proper movie, and Gunn really just chef's kiss. It was perfect. And of course, the best song for the whole movie, I felt, No Sleep Till Brooklyn by the Beastie Boys.
That whole sequence was great.
It was so awesome. Especially setting it to a Beastie Boys song was like the perfect. You can't really top that unless you find something like, say, Temple of Love by Sisters of Mercy and put that to a fight sequence. But that'll be. I would say I wouldn't do that for I wouldn't do that for a Guardians movie. I would do that for some other superhero movie.
Well, he's doing Superman Legacy next. We'll see what happens there.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I loved it, man. The Radiohead song at the beginning, I think, was the best, aside from the Rainbow song.
Yeah.
Since you've been gone. But I still think his best soundtrack was his first movie.
It was. It definitely had the best mix of stuff. A lot of mixture of songs from like the late 60s and the 70s. Really gave you a proper vibe. It actually kind of gave you a Tarantino-esque vibe to it. I mean, I think the best song out of that one was actually David Bowie when they were entering nowhere for the first time.
Yeah.
Now that we've hyped up how great his soundtracks are, watch Superman Legacy will have the worst one ever. Warner Brothers, Yakko just calls him up. James, Do we really need all this Creed on the Superman album?
Do you think he's going to go for that kind of a tone for Superman? Because I don't think he
I have
really
no-
went for the same kind of tone with with Suicide Squad. He didn't have a big soundtrack to that, did he? I mean, maybe I'm remembering wrong.
It wasn't a big soundtrack, but it was still a good mixture of songs.
Yeah.
I would say for Suicide Squad, I would say the best sequence was when they had just the Gigolo playing to Harley when she was breaking out of her prison.
Because the music in Guardians, I felt like were meant to be intertwined with the characters, and it was like self-aware that it was playing the song.
Yeah.
Whereas like Suicide Squad, it was just there for to build on the scene.
And both ways still work for it, I gotta say.
And I only saw Suicide Squad once, so it's been a while since I've seen it.
But yeah, I'll be very curious to see what happens with his Superman movie. And that one, he got the script in just in time before the writer's strike, so that movie is still safe to go. Unfortunately, there have been a bunch of delays, so it's not a great time to be a nerd right now.
Superman was cast too, wasn't he? Did they cast him? I thought I read something.
Allegedly, but it hasn't been confirmed yet. And I'll believe that when I see it, because allegedly it was one of the I forget his name, but it was a person that was fan casted a lot. And
is it Nicolas Cage?
It is not.
Damn it.
I find it, but that's my problem, is that I don't think James Gunn would go with the fan casting choice, even though he has a lot riding on this movie. Because if you wanted to go with the fan casting choice, why wouldn't you just keep Henry Cavill?
I do trust in James Gunn's casting decisions, because so far I have not really been disappointed by them.
We trust in Nicolas Cage too.
We do trust in Nicolas Cage, yeah.
Is it David Cronin Sweat? Is that who's playing him? Is that the guy?
Who?
Yeah, that's the one. Corn Sweat or whatever his name is.
Some unknown. They've always cast unknowns for Superman.
Cornfed the Pig, the guy from Duckman?
I wish. Shout out to Duckman, by the way. If you kids don't know that, go check out Duckman.
I was a kid when I watched it. Yeah.
It was that sweet spot right between Simpsons and South Park.
Yeah.
Yeah, too bad it didn't get the same numbers.
No. And it had one of the worst TV endings ever, unfortunate.
I just love how meta that show was in general.
Yeah, it was ahead of the game on the
and King Chicken. I love King Chicken. He was the best villain. Probably one of the best Tim Curry roles, too, I might add. But we're getting off track. Let's get back to the review for Guardians 3.
Let's go back. Hey, guys, let's talk about the actual movie now.
Yeah.
What a novel concept.
This was definitely a good Rocket movie, aside from being a Guardians movie. And I love
the star of this thing.
He was definitely the star, and I love that they brought finally full circle to him being the leader at the very end.
That was very cool, yeah. It was clever, and it was a great way to go, hey, you're Disney. I know you're going to make more after I leave, so here you go. Here's the new team. Do whatever you're going to do with that.
So with their ending, were they suggesting that it was Rocket's story from the first movie, or was it just this movie?
They said that, but I feel like if you go back and watch them, you might find some plot holes where maybe that wasn't the case.
Well, definitely, he definitely wasn't the main focus for the entire series, but you could definitely see his storyline starting to grow with near the ending of the first movie, and then he started to get more prominence in the second movie, and then full on, he's basically the star of the third movie.
Yeah,
so it did feel organic.
I do love how they wrapped up all the characters. I thought everybody had a very fitting conclusion in this.
That was good, yeah. And I felt so relieved they did not kill Drax, because I know I know that Dave Bautista was saying he wasn't going to be coming back for Drax after this, so that had me kind of worried that he was going to be the sacrificial lamb. And I'm so glad they didn't.
They didn't kill anybody, yeah, and the trailers totally made you think they would. They totally made you think someone's going to die.
Yeah,
and then nobody died.
They kept throwing so many curveballs in the trailers. You thought either Rocket was going to die, or Peter was going to die, or Drax was going to die, or hell, even Nebula you thought she was going to bite it at one point. But no, I got to say, bravo on them for just totally taking their expectations and, not making it like a terrible thing.
I would say that's probably my biggest criticism, is that none of the characters died. I do think at least one maybe should have, just for the sake of the drama, but still a great movie all around.
I did like that they gave Kraglin more prominence in this one as an actual member of the team.
And we got to talk about the High Evolutionary. Great villain.
Oh,
God.
great villain. Yeah.
Yes.
Highlight of the movie.
Definitely. He was so friggin' just creepy. And I
Did
got
you
line.
catch that joke? He calls him Skeletor. And I thought about it, and I'm like, why is he calling him Skeletor? And it didn't occur to me till the end of the movie when he's like, his mask is ripped off. Okay, that's why I called him Skeletor. But how did he know he looked like that? Was there like a cut scene or something like?
I think it
I
was
thought the
mainly
joke-
I think it was mainly because he had the purple motif going on there. And you know,
Yeah.
'cause Skeletor wears a lot of purple. Although the
I
guy who
got you.
plays High Evolutionary, God, that man.
His line about
So good.
his line about God's dead. That's why I stepped in. I got chills, dude.
Yeah. You rarely see a really good Marvel villain breakdown like that.
I liked him better than Kang. I don't know.
that
if
was
that's
gonna be my next follow up. Yeah.
I will
I don't know.
say,
Kang was good,
yeah,
too.
he definitely was up there with Kang, maybe even surpassing John Major's performance as Kang.
He might have to replace Kang the way Jonathan Major stuff is going. Do we know the update on that?
From what I've understood, the most recent update is they're kind of still up in the air about it, and he's still having his lawyers get his defense ready and stuff like that. But his reps have still
So
dropped
who's
him,
he
and
charged
he's still been dropped from like an army ad campaign. And I think the Mouse currently is kind of weighing all the options on what they want, they should or shouldn't do.
I'm sure the Mouse has a fallback plan. Sure. But Jonathan Majors, there is some kind of trial moving forward. Then
I think so. I think it's like a civil trial or something.
okay, because that was a big thing with that the woman recanted her story, but then if they're proceeding with the case, then I guess there is
people stepped up to say that he did this to me as well, stuff like that too. So who knows?
That's what I'm thinking. Okay, yeah, that was my concern because she recanted her story, but then as you were saying, his agency still dropped him and stuff, which would suggest that perhaps there was more yet to come out, and it sounds like perhaps it did. So.
Yeah. We'll definitely be keeping our eyes on this one and our ears to the ground for any further developments as that comes up.
It's only misdemeanor charges too. Like it's like not even this isn't like major felony charges.
I know, but even
he only
I don't know.
He only allegedly hit her a couple times. I mean,
I'm not like
even a misdemeanor can ruin a career. I mean, look at Rob Van Dam. All he got was only thing that happened to him was he got busted for having a little bit of pot on him when he got pulled over, and then Vince just said, "Oh, goodbye. We're not going to use you anymore." And just totally dropped him, disregarded his entire existence.
He had 2 championships at the time. At the same time,
he was the top dog in WWE. Then just all of a sudden, it's gone like that, just because of pot.
They had a policy. They had a policy in the XFL about our players are going to be clean, no drugs, pal, no anything. And then people pointed out to him, look, it's hard enough for us to get people to sign up for the XFL. If we exclude people that do drugs, we're really screwed.
I mean, because then you wouldn't have the XFL being the successful franchise that it is today.
And speaking of WWE, we got to talk about the big news. They sold to Endeavor for $9.3 billion.
Finally sold, huh?
Finally sold. Well, technically it's a merger, but they own 51% of the stock. So for all intents and purposes, they sold.
Yeah.
Vince is still there, but he has bosses for the first time in probably ever. So I don't know how well that's going to go over.
Yeah, you put a guy like that who used to be basically the equivalent of a god to everybody who worked under him, under the employment of somebody else who's telling him what to do. I'm pretty sure we're going to be seeing him throwing a hissy fit sooner or later.
It's very much going to be the end of waiting. Yeah, this company just keeps failing upwards, and they announced that the day after WrestleMania, the day after they disappointed the fan base. So what better time to say, hey, by the way, you can be done with us.
Yeah,
and there's
I
already
gotta say that was quite, aside from the Rey Mysterio Dominic Mysterio match, that was a pretty damn disappointing WrestleMania.
Very much so, and we have to see what happens, but allegedly they might ask you to pay even more for the next WrestleMania, a year after disappointing you with more Roman winning. because allegedly the plan is to eventually move them off Peacock and start charging big money for pay-per-views again like UFC does. And after WWE has spent years telling us how easily accessible and affordable they are, that seems like a bad move.
Yeah, and if there's anybody who knows how to overcharge and gouge for pay-per-views and for tickets, it's UFC.
So they will totally do that. Yeah.
Oh, they definitely are going to. I'm not even holding any doubts about that one now.
They've also changed the name of Legends contracts that they give to the Legends.
Are they still calling them Legends?
Nope. Now they are nostalgia deals. And the first ones they gave it to were the Headbangers, which is kind of hilarious. Oh, you want to give us a Legends deal? Nostalgia deal.
That really kind of sounds like a special or a special limited time value meal at McDonald's. Hey, come and get the nostalgia deal. You'll get a Ronald McDonald statue at 2 cents with a Big Mac.
Oh yeah, the future of WWE, very uncertain at the moment, but it's an exciting and scary time to be a wrestling fan, so we'll have to see what happens. But if you are afraid about WWE's future, you can always enjoy indie wrestling. There's AEW, there's TNA, there's Japan.
Fun little side note, I gotta say. This area, my neck of the woods over here, Sonoma County, North Bay, California. We actually used to be Shotzi Blackheart's stomping grounds, and Thunder Rosa. They were actually both a couple local acts around here for quite a while before they both got signed on.
That's pretty great.
It was. I have a couple associates who are actually close friends with Thunder Rosa. It's nice.
Batista is probably our biggest claim to fame, so I'm very proud of him and all he's accomplished.
Even though he was adopted.
Oh, that is a deep cut. I'm proud of you for that one.
Thank you. I remember remember they were talking about his little alternative theme song.
Do you think he holds grudges for his biological parents? You know, basketballs don't hold grudges.
From what I understand, he's made peace kind of with it. So that's good to know.
The Marvel money will dry his tears.
Oh, it definitely will. And the Dune money too, I might add.
And maybe the DC money if James Gunn puts him over there.
Who do you think he plays in DC?
I want to see Batista as Superman just to see The Rock get totally jealous. I want to see Batista drink The Rock's jealousy tears.
I want to see Batista as a more serious Bane. Can we get a good Bane, please?
Oh, he would be terrific Bane.
You didn't like Bane in Dark Knight Rises?
I liked him, but that voice though, it's become a parody.
Person of the Hispanic community, I do have some beef with the casting of a British person as Bane. However, I mean, if it wasn't actually Bane, it would have been better. But as an alternate reality Bane, it wasn't.
Yeah, it's Tom Hardy. You can't get mad at Tom Hardy for Tom Hardy.
Of course.
And so if they're going with Michael Keaton as Batman and this Flash, are the Tim Burton movies canon with this movie?
I certainly hope so because they were honestly the best ones.
Well, it's supposed to be an alternate universe, but I am okay with the Flash movie. Hopefully, if it's good, I am okay with the Flash movie as Michael Keaton's Batman 3 that we never got.
Oh, I definitely hope so. I love the fact in the newer trailer, he says the classic line. Not the I'm Batman line. He doesn't say not
nuts. Yeah.
You want to get nuts? Come on, let's get nuts.
Yeah. They really should have saved that for the actual movie. Why would you drop that in the trailer?
I know, right? But still, I mean, you get to hear him say it.
It was cool to hear.
He's back as Beetlejuice now too, so that's exciting.
Yeah. I'm a little iffy about Beetlejuice, just because I wanted so bad for them to make Beetlejuice Goes Hawaiian, and they didn't pull the trigger on that. I mean, if there's one franchise movie that would have been perfect for a Goes Hawaiian sequel, it would have been Beetlejuice.
Do you guys know who passed on Beetlejuice Goes Hawaiian?
Tim Burton?
Well, yes, but who else passed on it? Kevin Smith.
Like to direct it?
They gave Kevin Smith the choice of Beetlejuice 2 or Superman, and he picked Superman, and he didn't even get to make that. But Kevin Smith...
I don't know. With how his track record has gotten since Clerks 2, I don't know. Might have been a missed bullet there.
Well, yeah, but this would have been back in prime Kevin Smith years, potentially.
Oh, okay.
In the 90s.
Yeah.
But then we'd be listening to Beetlejuice talking about, like, if Superman bangs Lois, does that mean he's got to not shoot in her or some shit like that? And then, are we really talking about this there, Beetle?
Don't act like you wouldn't want to see Michael Keaton give that speech. He could pull that off.
If they did a Beetlejuice sequel based on the canon of the cartoon, I think that would have been so much better.
That would be pretty great. The cartoon was banging.
It was. You know what? As a personal rule of thumb for me, if a animated spinoff of a movie has more screen time and episodes and length than the actual movie itself, I officially hold the series spinoff as canon more than the movie.
That's fair. Although the cartoon, Lydia was like a teenager in the cartoon, so that's a little more problematic.
But they were buddies. It wasn't like Beetlejuice was trying to hook up with her in the cartoon, which, makes it actually kind of a better relationship because he wasn't trying to fucking marry her.
Boner.
Yeah.
Well, that's the problem with canonizing it, because he was trying to get married in the movie, and then he just kept hanging around her.
But what I'm saying is, I hold the canon of the cartoon more official than the movie. I mean, the movie was an introduction, but I feel like the actual continuity was the cartoon.
That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, then.
What's there, 3 seasons or 2 seasons of the cartoon?
I think it was 3 seasons. It was like 75 episodes or something like that. I do have the
oh wow, that's a lot.
I do have the DVD set, and
Nice.
I actually prominently remember it being on Fox Kids all the time back in the day, and like after school and stuff.
Have you guys seen the Beetlejuice musical?
I have not.
No, I want to see it.
I'm not really a musical theater type of person, to be honest. I probably should get a little more cultured and try out some musical theater, but I really never got the chance or can afford tickets.
I feel like that's why they adapt stuff like Beetlejuice for the stage, because it's like, well, you're not going to come see Cats, so,
And we already messed that up with a movie. We can't go back and mess up Beetlejuice with a movie, can we?
And then Warner Brothers was like, hold my beer.
What were we talking about?
Oh, yeah, Superman.
Superman, yes. The butthole mix.
Yeah.
Michael Keaton is 71 years old. Good grief.
And you wouldn't even believe it. You wouldn't even notice it. The man is so full of energy still.
Although I will say, when he delivered the line in the trailer, it did feel like Michael Keaton saying it more than Bruce or Batman.
Well, they have Johnny Depp cast in Beetlejuice 2. Holy shit.
Who was cast in Beetlejuice 2?
Johnny Depp.
Are you sure? 'Cause I haven't heard anything about that. I've heard about Willem Dafoe getting cast in the new Beetlejuice, but not Johnny
I
Depp.
looked it up here, and they have Winona Ryder, of course, Jenna Ortega, Catherine O'Hara, Monica Bellucci.
Monica Bellucci?
This is like you just Google Beetlejuice 2. This is what comes up as casting.
Yeah, but that could also be fan casting and rumors. But I will say, if Justin Theroux's in it, that's going to be a treat. He's always... He really needs... I think Justin Theroux needs a good prominent role to finally shine in, because he is one of those undiscovered gems.
These shots on IMDb look great, man.
If anybody's going to bring back Johnny Depp, it's going to be Tim Burton.
Yeah.
It's not like he ever left them.
Stay tuned for more Beetlejuice 2 news on a future Nerdle Soup.
Yes.
Did you guys watch Wednesday?
I did.
Yes, it was great, man. I fell in love with Jenna Ortega after watching that. She was so adorable.
She was good, but I didn't feel like it was a good Wednesday Addams show.
It wasn't. She wasn't.
If it
like
was
the
its
show,
own thing, I would have loved it a lot more.
Yeah.
A lot of shows suffer from that now. Wednesday, Velma, a lot of shows are like, well, I want to write this show, and studios don't want to take a chance on original content, so they're like, oh, we'll wrap them in these cosplays as these characters people know, and then we'll just make that.
Yeah, I heard Velma was awful.
Oh, it was
I didn't even watch it.
It was such an insult to everybody involved.
And speaking of insults to everybody involved, Kevin Smith news.
Again.
I guess we should talk about it. He recently had some mental health issues. He spoke about some trauma he suffered as a child. He spoke about trauma he suffered about a month ago as of this recording, about a break from reality he had.
Did he speak about Jersey Girl?
The trauma we endured at the end of Clerks 2.
Funny enough, he is doing Jersey Girl, the Snyder Cut at the end of May.
No, he isn't.
Yes, he is.
We're getting a 4-hour cut of Jersey Girl. What did we do to him?
He's such a hack now, man. These movies are awful he puts out.
I mean, at least it's not a Snyder cut of Giggly.
You guys are gonna trigger his mental breakdown again. Stop it.
Ugh.
No, but good for him for getting the help he needs. He stopped smoking marijuana. He's doing therapy. And all kidding aside, we do wish him well in his recovery.
I wish him well, and definitely wish him good fortune in the rest of his endeavors.
Did you ever see Vulgar, the one about the clowns?
I've heard about it.
Oh,
was that the other famous Brian O'Halloran role?
I believe it was.
Clerks?
Wasn't that the one where he, as like a little birthday clown, is involved in like a 20-minute essay scene?
Why would Kevin Smith attach this to him? I'm trying to look it up. Did he write it or?
I think he wrote it, and I think he directed it. I'm pretty sure he directed it. It just wasn't one of his more. It just wasn't one that he promoted.
Brian Johnson, it says here.
Oh,
Kevin Smith was the producer, but I watched this when I worked at a video store. It was just like, I was like, what the hell is this, man? This is like a team of just of gay siblings murdering people or something. It was awful.
I mean, if you put that in the right context, it's a moneymaker. But if you don't have the right writer for it, then you just got nothing. Because you can definitely make that concept work. But...
One more bit of Kevin Smith news that we might have just shoved back in earlier.
Yeah, what do we got?
His Green Hornet project might be moving forward. We're definitely getting some kind of new Green Hornet something.
Are we going to get more Seth Rogen Green Hornet?
I've seen conflicting reports because Kevin Smith and Mark Bernardin, they wrote and submitted a 10-episode Green Hornet animated series before the writer's strike. They didn't say to which place, but also Killjoy Jake, our fellow YouTuber, I say that as if we're equal colleagues. We are not. We have 12 subscribers. He has several thousand. But he reported that Lee Whannell, most recently famous for The Invisible Man, was set to direct a Green Hornet movie. So either they're making multiple Green Hornet things at the same time, which wouldn't be unprecedented, or perhaps he is directing Kevin Smith's show.
If he can give the Green Hornet the same vibe and mood that he gave the Invisible Man, I would definitely watch that.
Absolutely. And with or without Kevin Smith writing it, I would watch that. But I would be curious.
Going to go with the Asian sidekick?
Being Kato?
Yeah. Do you think they're going to do that, or is that too racist for today's standards?
Oh no, Kato is like the moneymaker for that whole franchise, really.
Yeah, I think they will, but they'll be careful and play it respectfully and all that.
Yeah, because it was Bruce Lee, of course, in the original one, and he did all the fighting, and I don't think I ever saw the Seth Rogen movie.
I would say the guy who played Kato in the Seth Rogen movie was pretty good. Like he wasn't Bruce Lee level, but he was still pretty good. Pretty good. He definitely ain't Bruce Lee. That's for damn sure.
I don't think Kevin Smith will make Jason Mewes Kato.
I don't know. I could definitely see Kato dropping a Schnoogans before he just totally roundhouse
karate chop somebody. Yeah. But I would be interested in seeing other people direct Kevin Smith's writing, because he tends to write and direct his own stuff a lot, which granted a lot of people do. But his words in the hands of somebody else who's a little less biased towards Kevin Smith, I think that would be fun. I think that would be a peanut butter and chocolate situation.
Let's see Werner Herzog direct the Kevin Smith script. I would love to see that.
See, we're making money for him already. You're welcome, Kevin.
And Werner.
But yeah, best of luck to Kevin Smith and all of his future endeavors.
Sounds like we're firing him from WWE.
Well, he has worked with Chris Jericho before.
He has, hasn't he? Yes.
Ooh, maybe he'll be in Green Hornet. Maybe he'll be one of the guys they beat up.
That'd be a nice cameo. Maybe he will be the Green Hornet.
I hope not.
I could see it. I mean, if we went back to that corporate haircut,
that could be interesting.
Yeah, totally would.
Who do we want for Kato though?
Ooh, and they got to be talented with martial arts too, above all, and not be a crappy actor.
How about Simo, the guy that played Shang-Chi?
I was thinking that.
Is he too old?
Simo
he might be too old, maybe.
No.
I would say he's probably the right age range for Kato.
I could see that. I could see that. Good casting, John.
And he is Chinese too, which also is definitely
He's Chinese Canadian.
Yeah, but Kato, Bruce Lee was Chinese. American.
Yeah.
So.
We won't hold him being Canadian against him. As hard as it is.
I mean, if he had Simu Liu as Kato and Chris Jericho as Green Hornet, I mean, it's a Canadian knockout powerhouse right there. So
that is a pretty good tag team, honestly.
It would be.
You know what? You've talked me into it. Let's do that. Let's make that hashtag. Let's get that going.
Chris Jericho has a band too.
Yep, Fozzy.
Oh yeah, Fozzy.
Oh, is it music? Is it metal? Oh, it is metal.
It is metal. I have yet to see them live. I missed out a couple opportunities too. But from what I understand, he does put on a pretty good show, and he's got some really good. He does really good music.
Yeah,
I've heard some of his songs on XM radio, and they weren't that bad. They were pretty good.
Yeah,
it's definitely more the classic '80s metal kind of vibe to it.
Yeah, very '80s inspired. His big song Judas made it onto Cobra Kai last season.
I gotta get caught up on that. I only saw the first season.
Oh, dude, you're gonna like it.
I've actually yet to watch Cobra Kai. And it's been 10 years since that show came out?
Has it been 10? Good grief.
Has it?
Well, some of that's...
Through me, I don't know now.
Well, some of that was delays. There was COVID delays. There was delays because it was on YouTube Red originally, and that didn't work out, so they sold it to Netflix.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's been 10 years, but it's only been 5 seasons, so you're not that far behind.
I will say, I think probably the most interesting Cobra Kai merchandise tie-in that they've done is the crossover action figure pack that they have with Ninja Turtles.
That's awesome.
They were selling those at Best Buy for a while, and I think the Turtles each had a black bandana. They didn't have their color bandanas on, but the only way you could tell who it was the name on the box, squaring off against Johnny or
Daniel.
Or Daniel, yeah, or the kid with the mohawk.
Oh, Hawk, yeah.
Whatever the other guys were in the movie or in the show, yeah.
Or Blue Beetle,
yeah.
Oh, when's that coming? That's coming out soon too.
That is actually, I've actually jotted down the schedules for all the movie releases to have them on standby, so I know when to catch them for the future shows. Blue Beetle's actually going to be out in August 18th.
Oh, well, that's the end of the summer. Okay.
Yeah. That's the big one. That's the follow up to The Flash. So we'll have to see how that goes.
Flop. Then no one's going to go see this movie.
Oh, I'm looking forward to Blue Beetle, man.
Yeah, I'm going to go see it too, but it's going to flop. I'm almost certain of it.
I hope not. Same day it comes out.
Made no money either, man, and that flopped. And the first one was good, really good. And
yeah, but they also didn't even do anything to promote Shazam because they were giving up on it because it was the tail end of the DCU.
I mean, so is Blue Beetle going to be canon with James Gunn's new DC universe?
I think it's supposed to be the first one in there. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Allegedly, it was originally going to go to HBO Max or Max.
I heard.
Yeah, originally that was the plan, but supposedly James Gunn got in there and was like, "No, put a little more money into it and put it in theaters."
Oh, no kidding.
Hey, I wonder if there was any other DC movies that were supposed to premiere on HBO Max that James Gunn could have pulled out.
Yeah, I'd love to see that awful Batgirl movie. Apparently, but...
Man. Really, Blue Beetle's the one you save?
I mean, if we think about it, really, the Batgirl movie probably would just gone into the pile of other Batman-related merchandise. So, although I would have loved to see it, from what I understand, those who did catch it said it was pretty good and was not at all worth just trashing for a tax break. So, fuck Zaslav.
Well, we'll never know.
Bad things about it too, though. It just was not going to work. I don't know, but
and the frustrating thing too is they're still doing Elseworld stuff. So you could totally release just a solo Batgirl movie and anything that doesn't make sense in the continuity. Just shrug your shoulders and go, well, it's in Elseworlds. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, what's the Joker's excuse?
She looked good as Batgirl, Leslie Jones or whatever.
She did. I would have loved to have seen, Brendan Fraser as Firefly. I mean, I was looking forward to that.
Especially after, do you think they're kicking themselves now that he won an award?
Yeah.
They're like,
I definitely would be. I would have just been like, Happy Gilmore with his caddy and looking at Zaza. I was like, Roy on that one, dipshit.
That's karma for you, I suppose. Oh, you canceled my movie? Well, I got this nice award here. Now I'm going to go get paid for Mummy 3 or whatever.
4. Mummy 4.
Mummy 4. There you go.
Hopefully.
The Mummy
Are they really
returns.
making it?
Returns.
Is that something they're really putting out?
I don't think so. Not yet. But
Not
I'm pretty
official.
sure at this point they're probably in talks about it.
Yeah, I didn't even
They've
see
got it.
that third one. I didn't.
Perhaps Disney will pay him for George of the Jungle 3. No, wait. Yeah, that was him.
Yeah, because he wasn't in the sequel. To that,
Yeah, perhaps
that
Disney.
one.
No,
Yeah.
yeah, they put a younger guy in the sequel, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or they just
even-
couldn't.
they
Or at
even-
the time they just couldn't afford Brendan Fraser to come back.
They even made the joke in the sequel about studio too cheap to pay Brendan Fraser. Me knew George.
Nice. I miss when they did those cartoon adaptations and they kind of kept with the same humor, like
I forgot.
George.
I forgot how
and,
meta
Dudley Do-Right, especially.
Ursula. Yeah.
Dudley Do
Yeah.
right.
You know, they were
I forgot
actually
how
based.
meta those old.
They were from the same. They were cartoons from the same studio, so it makes sense
Yeah,
that they
it
had
was,
Brendan Fraser playing both leads.
Did Hanna-Barbera or
No, it was the
What's it?
guys who did Rocky and Bullwinkle.
what was that? That's not Hanna-Barbera?
No, it was a completely independent studio. Let me double check here.
See that Rocky and Bullwinkle movie? That was awful.
Oh, absolutely, it was dreadful.
Yeah.
Universal.
J Ward Production?
J Ward, that was it. Yes, J Ward Productions.
J Ward, I don't. Oh, okay, yeah. I'm not.
Yeah.
Did somebody buy them up?
Universal, probably, because they had the most on the property.
Universal.
Because Jay Ward did Rocky and Bullwinkle. He also helped make Dudley Do Right,
Peabody.
George of the Jungle, Peabody and Sherman. I think he might have also done Tom Slick. And I know anybody here under the age of 50 has no idea what the hell I'm talking about. But
Educate yourselves. Go watch some classic cartoons. Peabody and Sherman.
You
Was
can't
good.
anymore. You can't even watch Looney Tunes anymore, man.
you can watch it on Boomerang.
Everyone's being canceled. They canceled Pepe Le Pew.
They took away the guns. They did a bunch of things.
Yeah,
I
they
should
did.
clarify. They took away the guns from Elmer Fudd and Yosemite Sam.
Yeah.
You think Elmer Fudd is living off the grid now, trying to form his own independent state so they won't take his guns?
Yeah. Like to the outskirts of like Oregon or something. And...
You're trespassing on the independent Republic of Elmer.
I didn't know you had that impression in the chamber. It's pretty good.
But yes, Brendan Fraser, Batgirl, Blue Beetle. Yeah. And
Oh, yeah.
same day as Blue Beetle comes out, actually, funny enough, is another movie called Strays. And I don't know if you've
I
seen
wanna
the
see
trailer
that.
for that one. It is hilarious.
Somebody better get their penis bitten off by the end of that movie. They promised it in the trailer.
Oh my god.
And if you haven't,
I
if
know,
you don't know
right?
what we're talking about, you definitely should see the trailer because it is just funny as hell.
Strays. What is this Strays movie? Is it live action?
Basically, it's an
adult.
R-rated Homeward Bound. Best way to describe it.
Will Ferrell is an abandoned dog, and he wants to go bite his master's penis off.
And
Oh, that's lovely.
Jamie Foxx is the stray that he befriends, and two other dogs, and they're voiced by other comedians, and it just looks hilarious. It just
Yeah, I'm
whole
getting
cat-
similar vibes to what was that movie that came out with the foul-mouthed kids? It came out.
Good Boys.
Yeah, I'm getting similar vibes to that. Only just
I
with
think
dogs
it's
and
actually
everything.
from the same studio and the same producers.
Well, that's promising.
From the humans who brought you 21 Jump Street, and I never saw
You know that.
those movies.
They were actually really
Those are
good. They were
Yeah,
actually
those are
really
good.
hilarious. And I will say, I think everybody agrees with me on this one. 21 Jump Street was really what brought Channing Tatum into the comedic fold because he was so good in that one.
It absolutely was. It showed he could do comedy.
Yeah. If anything, that movie actually helped jumpstart his career again because people thought he was just another bland romantic lead. And then 21 Jump Street came out, and then they realized, oh, wow, he's actually funny.
He
I
actually
got
has
to
that
I'm
person-
glad he wasn't cast as Gambit. That would have been awful, I think.
You know what? He's been trying for that role for so long. I kind of want to see it. Just do like a what if one time
Yes.
him as Gambit. Just for that happy ending.
Yes. He deserves Gambit at this point.
Just do a John Krasinski. Give him Gambit, and then maybe he dies, or they go back to, or Deadpool goes back to another universe, or whatever the story is. But just give him a few minutes, you know?
With a full Cajun accent, do you think he would have been able to pull that off?
If he was that passionate about it, I'm pretty sure he's been working on it for a while.
he might have just done his normal voice as Gambit. You know, Secret Wars is coming. Give us Channing Tatum Gambit in Secret Wars. He just comes through a portal. He's flinging cards at Kangs.
Yes. Yes.
That's all we need. That's it.
All we need. Little Gambit there. Kang, fighting Gambit goodness.
What was the name of the actor that played him in that Wolverine movie? Taylor Kitsch?
Taylor Kitsch, yeah.
X-Men Origins?
Yeah, he was the guy. Yeah, he was also the guy who was in John Carter as John Carter.
Oh, that's right. I didn't think I saw that movie.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. That's the problem is nobody saw that movie because nobody thought a movie called John Carter was going to be about a guy who goes to Mars. Sadly,
it sounds like a badass action hero movie.
It was a badass action hero.
The terrorists have a thing. Call in John Carter.
Right. It was a good movie. I'll just say that. I highly recommend anybody who wants a good action film, science fiction action film, definitely go watch John Carter. It still holds up to this day, in my opinion.
Oh, he was in a movie called Princess of Mars. What is this movie?
That's what John Carter was supposed to be.
Direct-to-DVD science fiction film.
He was also in Battleship.
Yeah, bad. I didn't even see that movie either. That looked awful. He was Legend of Frozen, Cowboys and Aliens. I don't think I saw that either.
Cowboys and Aliens was actually pretty decent.
Before he did like John Carter and Battleship and all that, he was actually mainly known for Friday Night Lights. Yeah,
I like that you said before he was known for Battleship. There's a sentence you don't hear every day. I do want to go over some feedback we received from episode 1.
Was this good feedback or bad feedback?
We received a little of both, but more positive than negative. So thank you to all of you that liked, subscribed, commented, slid into our Discord DMs, as the kids with a Z say now. Absolutely. All you, everybody, thank you sincerely. All 12 of you that are subscribed. We really appreciate it.
Negative comments you got?
Well, if you want to go down that road.
I guess we're going to call this our fan mail corner.
So, user Carrot, and I'm not going to say their full names or anything because I don't know how they feel about that. But user Carrot Cake on Discord would like to talk about the things that she enjoys, namely cats and Breaking Bad.
Oh,
what?
And I was
we can definitely oblige you there, Carrot. Let's talk about cats.
You know, I was thinking about this. In a world where Cocaine Bear made $1 million,
movie of the year.
Why not make Breaking Bad Kitty? Breaking, comma, Bad Kitty! Exclamation point.
I can see that working. Yeah.
Just you're in it, by the way, Reo. I have a role for you in this movie in my mind.
Excellent.
You are the meth head.
Well, I mean, I am a method actor, so duty calls.
No.
Give me a balloon.
You're the meth head, and I am your trusty but neglected cat.
Wait, am
You're not feeding me?
Am I also a cat, or am I meth head cat, or am I just a regular meth head?
No, you're just a human meth head.
Oh, well, that just takes away the fun.
So you die right away. You overdose, and I have to eat you to stay alive because I'm hungry and whatnot.
Naturally.
So now I have a taste for flesh and meth. And then we just cut to, a week later, a month later, whatever it is, and this new family moves in, and oh no, this cat was left behind. Let's adopt it. And then the cat just murders the family one by one. And John, maybe you're in the family. Maybe you're the dad that has to protect the family, and you kill me at the end.
Now, when you play the cat, is it just you in a full cat bodysuit with little ears and like painted on whiskers, or is it like a CG cat?
No, I'll just do the meow, meow. And then we'll get like somebody more qualified, like a Roger L. Jackson or a Tony Todd, to do like the internal monologue of the cat. And then when John decapitates me at the end after I've murdered his whole family, and I'm like, wow. And then you hear Roger L. Jackson zoom in on the dying eyes of the decapitated cat head. And Roger L. Jackson's like, that's all right. I've got 9 lives. Boom. Title card. Breaking Bad.
If we really want to splurge money on the soundtrack, we get A Whole Lot of Love by Led Zeppelin. And every time they go into the chorus, I'm like, what a whole lot of love. You just have the cat going, meow.
And that's how we get a 9-movie franchise out of this thing.
Yeah. Am I the only one who appreciates that Led Zeppelin joke? Come on.
Comment down below if you appreciated the Led Zeppelin joke.
I mean, come on, let a whole lot of love. Meow. On a whole lot of love. Meow. It just sounds like a depressed
Well,
cat who's just coming down off of his meth high.
I could see that. Well, user Autumn appreciates our musical references.
Excellent.
She quite enjoyed our comedic mispronunciation of Les Miserables in episode 1.
Well, knowing that makes me feel less miserable about the joke.
And she would like us to talk about Teen Titans, not Teen Titans Go, specifically Teen Titans.
Oh,
no
thank
waffles
God.
on this. No waffles on this show.
Thank God.
Where are you reading the comments on?
Oh, it's just DMs we've gotten. Although we have some YouTube comments.
Direct messages. Okay, all right.
We get DMs?
I did get DMs.
Well, this is new to me.
Oh.
Where do I find these DMs? These mysterious DMs.
Oh yeah, they gotta like. I think they gotta hop into the server for you to see them. But
you mean on the Discord?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought they were like DMs like on the YouTube channel itself.
Oh no, but actually, pull that up real quick. If you pull up the episode 1 real quick.
You had 74 views on episode 1, man. How'd you only end up with 13 subscribers? This is
one of them is my mom. Hi,
yeah,
Mom.
Yeah, your mom is subscribed. That must be nice.
It is.
I told my mom about it, and she supposedly listened, and then she's like, "Oh yeah, tell me when you do more." And I go, "Well, actually, if you subscribe, it'll tell you when we do more." And she's like, and she gave me that that little O that you give when you totally aren't going to do something. Oh, Jesus is Lord and Savior. Oh, yeah, I'd love to hear more about that, guys, but I got to go right now. Oh,
my mom never gives me that.
You say
Let me rephrase
that early.
Let me rephrase that. My mom never. Actually, no. There's no way I can even say that phrase without making it sound wrong. So never mind.
No.
Now
we're gonna go.
My mom always gives me a good O.
Now we're gonna go back to 12 subscribers. You see what you did?
Hello, Newgrounds.
But no, I also want to shout out the very first comment we got. The dude that was like interesting. Which guy said that?
Mr. Tony Lopez.
I was the first commenter.
Were you? Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I was. I'm at the top of the list.
Are you? Tony
He's
Lopez?
right under me.
Chip Gray.
Well, he's
Alexandra. Obviously, cancer.
Was that our first one?
Well, that was
The
one of them.
second you sent me that voice, the text message, I was at work. I went right out and started listening to it at work.
Well, I appreciate that. I remember I swear our very first comment ever was just some dude going interesting.
Tony Lopez, yeah, interesting.
Okay,
Say that, yeah.
Shout out to Tony Lopez as our first.
Shout out to Tony Lopez, our first comment ever. We have no idea who he is. He's not friends nor family, but he said we're interesting. Well, Tony Lopez, we think you're interesting.
Very much so, yes.
He's got a YouTube channel too. You click on his name; he's got some videos.
That's awesome. So yeah,
I hope this isn't like a milkshake duck situation where we find out like, oh, he supports Nazis.
Let's hope not.
He's got stuff about home invasion, Maniacs, short story film.
Oh, cool.
He's probably a horror fan. So
that
that's
definitely
good.
looks interesting. Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah.
So yeah,
he's got 955 subscribers, 127 videos. Good.
Well, then we definitely feel humbled by somebody of his stature thinking that we're interesting.
Absolutely. We hope that him and everyone else will keep listening. Thank you guys for sticking with us. We know it's been a while in between episodes 1 and 2. We actually recorded more stuff, but we had technical issues as well on top of everything else going on. We will release the lost episodes one day.
Yes.
So stay tuned for those. Stay tuned for just more great content here on Nerdle Soup.
For you, the day
Nerdle Soup
graced your village was the most important day of your life. But for me, it was Tuesday.
I know that you'll be back.